Hey guys, and welcome back to Heroes of Might and Magic 4. As always, I'm DemonFire93, and last time we finished off the 5th of the campaigns with Goldoth half dead, and today we start A Pirate's Daughter.
Who's going to miss a man who never did anything unless it put gold in his pocket?
Pirates!
In fact, Captain Black knifed his own brother over a few copper pieces. Barely the price of a bowl of porridge.
Okay.
That's my daddy. Good riddance, I say.
Good for you. Surpassing her infamous father's accomplishments, Tawny Balfour embarks on a journey filled with battle and mayhem as she seizes control of the important waterways around the Gold Sea. She not only faces pirates and creatures from the bottom of the sea, but also her own dark past as she sets out to become the pirate queen of the Gold Sea. Okay. After the death of her infamous pirate father, Tawny Balfour takes command of his ship. She immediately sets out to accomplish something her father never dreamed of doing, conquering the Strait of Storms. Her dream to control the entire Gold Sea begins or ends here. She must defeat the towns of Phrygiston and Yanathray, or fade into mediocrity. Victory conditions: capture both Phrygiston and Yanathray. Loss conditions: lose Tawny Balfour or Pete Gurley. Sorry, Pete, for being so girly. Advanced game: carry over Tawny Balfour and Pete Gurley are all, and all their spells, skills, and experience will transfer to the next map along with the Steadfast Shield. All your heroes have a maximum level of 12. Alright. Let's go. A pair of sailors carried my father's large corpse to the end of the plank. He was wrapped in a section of sail and weighed down with a sack of the same gold-plated lead coins he often used to pay for his meals. All eyes fell on me, his daughter, and the new captain, to say some words. But what do I say about a man I would have killed if he hadn't first met his fate at the point of a rival pirate's blade? This bag of meat used to be Black Balfour, I said, loud enough for the entire crew to hear. He never met a person he didn't cheat, beat, or kill. Everyone cheered. Holding a flask in my hands, I stepped out onto the plank. The wood wobbled beneath my feet, threatening to break under the weight of so many people, but I ignored the dangerous creaking. With my teeth, I removed the stopper from the flask and poured most of its contents over the body of the man who sired me. Then I spat out the cork and gulped the rest. Good riddance, I said, nodding to the sailors. I threw the flask away as the sailors heaved Black Balfour into the sea to become a meal for the sharks. When we prepared the body this morning, I had secretly cut the rope securing the weights to my father's corpse so the sea would eat through them in a day or two. Black Balfour would spend a short while ripening on the bottom of the Gold Sea, and when the weights broke free, his body would rise to the surface where some lucky sharks would have a tasty meal. I grinned at the thought. Serves you right, I said, so only I could hear. I wasn't at all surprised to find a blade thrusting for my belly the moment I stepped on deck. Few pirates will accept a woman as their captain, and my father's first mate, Gory Gordy, was such a man. I had been waiting for him to make his move, which was why I had concealed a pair of daggers beneath the baggy sleeves of my white blouse. I wanted to appear unarmed for this ceremony, a perfect target for a coward like Gory Gordy. I sidestepped Gordy's sword, but not quick enough to avoid a stinging slash above my navel, and then I jumped out of his reach as the crew formed a circle around us. I gritted my teeth against the pain. What took you so long? I asked. I still didn't draw my weapons. Let Gordy think he's got the advantage. Men get stupid when they think they have the power. I wanted to show your father some respect while he was still above the sea, Gory Gordy said. Funny. My father never had any respect for you. He always said you were dumber than dirt. That's why he kept you as first mate, too stupid to mutiny. You talk too much, wench. Gordy lunged at me 3 more times, but I dodged them all. A sword against an unarmed woman. Not exactly fair, is it? At least give me a dagger, I said as the first mate paused for a breath. No doing, and you're no woman. Fine, I said, reaching into my shirt sleeves. I'll use my own then. Gordy blinked, realizing too late that I wasn't as helpless as he thought. I used that moment of shock to throw my first knife. It sunk to the hilt in his right thigh. After that, my opponent's sword didn't matter. He was lame and couldn't keep me at bay forever. I danced around him, taunting him, and cut him a few times. When I was no longer having any fun, I spun around the first mate so quickly that his back was still facing me as I ended his life. I pointed my bloody blade at Gordy's body and said, "Throw this overboard, and somebody swab his blood off my ship." Okay. 25 pirates and 20 bandits, huh? So you're Pete Gurley, eh? And Tawny Balfour. Interesting. What if we did this? Ha-ha! 2 separate heroes now. Really? You want to fight? You don't want to join me? That's a shame. Oh boy. You don't have any spells, okay. Interesting. No range units at all. That's lovely. Okay. Hi-yar. Hi-yar. Backstabber! Hi-ya! Okay. What? Okay, whatever. Ta-da! Didn't even level up from that? Ah, damn it. Alright, get the gold. Get the 4-leaf clover. Big. Oh yeah, you should probably do that, huh? Ah, yes, a place. It's very far away. Basic seamanship since you're about to get on a boat. Yesterday, I ordered the crew to set sail for the Strait of Storms. Since the first mate was dead, I did the navigating myself, something my father had never been capable of doing. By now, the crew was probably wondering what kind of captain Tawny Balfour would make. Perhaps they were even wondering what I was up to. Where was I going? Was I taking them? Well, let them wonder. It kept them off guard. Confused men rarely mutiny. A knock on the door startled me from my thoughts. Come in. 2 young sailors entered. They seemed uncertain why they had been summoned to my cabin. One had a missing tooth and an angry red rash on his neck. I reminded myself not to touch that man in the future. The other was handsome, fair-haired. "You're Dryden, right?" I asked the latter. Because I had been one of the crew for several years, I knew the names of every sailor, but my father hired this good-looking young man at our last port, so I didn't know him that well. "Yes, Captain," Dryden said. Or said Dryden. I hear you can read and write." "Yes, Captain, my father was a scribe back in Arathia. We were at sea when the reckoning came," Dryden said. "Good. I have a task for the 2 of you," I said, coming to my feet. I walked around my table and leaned against its corner. "Go below and find some paint. I don't care what color you use. Then you're to go to the back of the ship and scrape off the words painted on the hull and replace them with new ones," I said. The 2 men nodded. I decided to rename my father's ship. In his usual unimaginative way, he had named it the Black Death. I always hated that name. "What name do you want, Captain?" "The Feral Vixen." "Yes, Captain," they said and quickly left. Okay. "Yar, wait, don't go off there yet." Oh boy, more pirates. "Don't be leaving me just yet. We're gonna need to be a team here." Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and try. Hi-yar. All of you are dead. Not bad. Uh-huh. Sure. Well. Well, damn. Didn't expect that part. 1,000 experience points, yes. Alright, on to the boat. Ooh. Alright. Lots to explore. Oh boy. Just what we like to see. Well, alright then. Alright. I stepped out of my cabin around midday. In one hand I held a dagger, in the other a map I had been working on for the past few days. I walked purposefully to the main mast and pinned the map to the wood. All hands gather round. You all might as well take a look, I shouted, stepping back to let the sailors congregate around the mast. I used a crate secured to the deck as a stage. When everyone had a chance to see the map, I waved my hands over my head to get their attention. Look here! What are we? Men of the sea, someone responded. I shook my head and shouted, are we so like common land-lubbing swine that we have to give ourselves pretty names? What are we? Dogs, scum, thieves, murderers! All those were correct, but finally one of them shouted the right answer. We are pirates! Said a short, square-jawed man with a shaved head oiled so that it sparkled beneath the sun. His name was Arnok, the Hairless. One of the contenders for first mate. If I let my decision be determined by the outcome of a brawl, my money would be on this man. Arnok had fists like rocks, and he was well known for his ability to take pain. His forearms were covered with pink scar tissue, the result of many bets that he could keep his arm over a burning flame twice as long as anyone. He never lost. Arnok was also an experienced sailor and navigator, but can he be trusted? Although he didn't seem to be the ambitious sort, there was no telling what he thought about following a woman. Good, I said, pointing at the bald man. To everyone I yelled, we are pirates, but we are not the only ones, are we? What's the saying? The Gold Sea is home to more pirates than fish. I paused to let this part set in. None of them would have to think for long before they recalled that the devious Captain Swift had recently killed their very own Captain Black. About half of our battles are with other pirates, not the merchant ships. It dawned on me a long time ago that none of us were earning the kind of profits that were available on the Gold Sea. My father, I said, was getting old. His tactics were old. Even his thoughts were old. That's why he died. This is the new world, and it requires new thinking. Several of the men cheered. They were the ones that never liked my father anyway. The ones I truly had to convince were respected men like Arnok the Hairless, who had been loyal to Black Balfour for many years. What do you want to do? Kill all the other pirates? Asked a crewman toward the back where I couldn't see him. No, that would take too long. I'm going to conquer the Gold Sea. This time, most of the crew laughed at such a thought. That's all right, though. They didn't believe me, yet. At least they feared me. How are you gonna do that? Arnok asked. By first conquering the Strait of Storms, I said, pointing at the map pinned to the mast. Okay. Interesting. Being Grandmaster, having Grandmaster, ships, yeah, does that mean that I don't have to, I'm not getting the penalty where I get stopped from land to sea. I have a very big movement point. David Sling. Okay. Your legs feel like rubber after climbing all the way to the top of the cartographer's tower, but look at the view, simply breathtaking. Oh, did I get knowledge of more things or something? What? Cloak of Distraction. This is a small little slip of land. I was sitting at my table when the young sailor Dryden returned from below deck. He placed what I had asked him to retrieve on the table in front of me, his expression confused and a little afraid. Good, Dryden, I said. Now I want you to go out and make an announcement to the entire crew. Yes, Captain, what do you want me to say? Tell them that whoever is interested in being first mate should report to me now. Dryden stepped outside. Meanwhile, I prepared for the first taker. In my mind, I set the odds on who would be the first to step through that door. Would it be Arnok the Hairless, or my father's second mate, Eight Fingers Oba? The door creaked open, and in stepped Faz the Axe, a rugged man with bulging muscles. He had been a soldier before he became a pirate, so he was one of my best fighters. It was a shame I had to kill him. I fired the crossbow concealed beneath the table, the same bow Dryden had brought up from my weapon stores below deck. The bolt pinned Faz to the door of my cabin. Faz the Axe groaned, clutched at the wound. I could tell by his stupid expression that he still hadn't figured out what happened. I put my foot up on the table, stuck it in the crossbow's stirrup, and drew back the string. Anyone ambitious enough to be the first to answer my call is too ambitious for my ship, Faz. Sorry, I said. You! Faz tried to speak, but the pain must have been too much to bear. Still, he struggled to free his favored axe from his belt. You have to give him credit for trying. I placed a second bolt in the crossbow and leveled it at Faz's chest. I know it doesn't make you feel any better, but I'll give you a decent sailor's funeral. Like you did your father. I saw the ropes. You cut them, Faz said through teeth gritted against the agony in his stomach. He finally managed to raise his axe. Fine then, I'll just throw you out with the refuse. I fired. The bolts powered through the pirate through the door behind him. He collapsed dead on the deck outside my quarters where all could see. Arnok the Hairless was the first to examine the body. He glanced up at me, his face expressionless. I guess he's not the first mate, Arnok said. No, I replied, dropping the crossbow on the table. I frowned at my broken door. One of the hinges had snapped off. Then to Arnok I said, you can have the job if you want it. Well, I don't see a crossbow in your hands, so I'll take it. Hilarious. How does this fucker work? I remember he's pretty strong, right? I think. I don't know. Okay. Yar! He's got 198 health, that's a lot. What? You're an archer? Since when? There we go. Fishman's dead. Oh boy, had some casualties there. Oh, that's how I get pirates. Fair enough. See, look at how far we can go in just one fell swoop. Let them run and gather more pirates. Alright. So we've done everything we can over here. We've done everything we can there. Done everything on that island. So I guess it's on to the mainland then, eh? Onwards. We've sailed long enough. I was the first to jump from the dinghy onto the pebble-strewn beach. It had been a while since I placed foot on dry land, except for those 18 times that I just did it on those other small islands. So it felt odd not to have the world swaying beneath me. Sometimes when a sailor spends a long time at sea, he experiences a form of reverse seasickness when on solid ground. I already felt a mild queasiness creeping into my stomach, but I gritted my teeth, refusing to allow it to become anything more. I had come here to find a land route to the town of Phrygiston, since its leader, Jorgon Onefoot, had wisely blocked any access to the bay with a great chain. The men who would accompany me, all volunteers, climbed from the other boats and quickly removed sacks of food and bundles of weapons. Along the way, we would build or steal whatever we needed to siege Phrygiston. Slowly, all the dinghies returned to the feral Vixen, leaving only one. In it was my new first mate, Arnok the Hairless. I hope I can trust you not to name yourself captain while I am gone, I said. I make no promises, Arnok said with an unpleasant smile. His smile always made my skin crawl. Well, here's my promise. If you steal my ship, I swear I will hunt you down and gut you. Arnok laughed and waved as he single-handedly rowed the boat over the crashing waves, a job for two men normally. I wondered if I would ever see the feral Vixen again. Drawing my sword, I waved it over my head to get everyone's attention. I know we're pirates, built for fighting on the sea, but I don't want any man with me who can't can't kill a man on dry land as well. Follow me. Soon the Strait of Storms will be ours. Right.